your cowboy pal, old Jack Spade. Leather's strong, leather's true. He's got a howdy just for you. Howdy, you two parts.
Howdy, you two parts. Jack Spade back here with you, High Noon Leatherworks, for another leather adventure. And today, I'm going to start a project that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Actually, I've been wanting to do this for a couple of years. And I've never just went ahead and jumped out there and started it. So, it's a big project. That's one of the reasons why I've kind of procrastinated. But also, it's kind of complex, especially for me, because I've never done anything like this before, at least this difficult in my mind. So we're going to start this, and it's going to end up, it's such a big project, it's going to be a series. So there's going to be multiple parts to this, so I'll let you know that right up front. So this will be part one, and what we're going to do is a Lone Ranger rig. I am going to put my own twist on this. I'll explain that in a minute, what I'm going to do, and I'll bring you on in, and let's get started. All right, so I've got this packet of several different types of Buscadero belts and holsters patterns. This whole thing is, there's 8 25-inch by 38-inch sheets, and they're printed on both sides. There's 25 actual holster size patterns, tracing designs, 5 actual size Buscadero belts, and 30 how-to illustrations. This is manufactured and distributed by Tandy Leather, but I got this online. I'm not sure, like I said, I've been planning this for a long time. I'm not sure whether I ordered this directly from Tandy on the internet, or possibly I got this through Amazon. Not positive. You might want to check that out. But it wasn't very expensive, and it's got tons of different patterns in it. So it's got all kinds of how-tos in it, and it's set up for rigs for all these different types. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. That kind of gives you an idea of what a Buscadero rig is. It's the one that hangs down. They kind of came into play around the late 1920s, from what I understand, when the silent movies or whatever, the cowboy movies started coming out. This was not an actual design used in the Old West originally, but came into play when they started making cowboy movies. So that low slung holster look, or Buscadero rig, is not actually true Old West design. So that's where I'm going to make my little changes. So I won't be using this low slung Buscadero belt. I'll be making a regular belt with loops, and then we'll be placing the holsters on there, the right and left holsters, the way it would have been worn originally back in the 1800s. So let's get started. I took the pattern out of here that is for a Colt Peacemaker or 1873 Colt revolver single action. This 45 long Colt's what I'm making it for, but and it's a 6-inch barrel, but you can make it any way you want to for any size or any make. But that's what I'm making. So what I did was I took that pattern out of there. I traced it on some poster board, white poster board, so that I can use this several times. This is easier to trace onto the leather than paper. So I've got it marked Lone Ranger rig right, and then what it's for, the Colt 45 long Colt. Flip it over, Lone Ranger rig left, Colt 45 long Colt. So I can take a look at that in my pattern stash and pull that out anytime I need to. I know exactly what it's for. So I've got 2 pieces of veg tan leather here that are, I'd say, 9 ounce. That kind of gives you an idea how thick that is. I think it'd be perfect for these holsters. So I'm going to lay that finished side up. I'll take my right pattern that says right on it, and I'm going to go ahead and trace that out onto my leather. And yes, I'm using a ballpoint pen because I'll be beveling this finished side, so that'll take that mark off. And I just like the way it's so much easier to follow when I'm cutting. Personal preference. You can use whatever you'd like. So there's my right hand. So when I fold that over, that's going to be right-handed. And the finished side. So let's take that, move it out of the way, grab my second piece that was cut off of the same hide, same piece of leather, and let's flip it over and do the left hand. And I'll move that around and see where the best place is to lay that, to cut it. Because I want the best part of the leather, and this darkening and scarring right here, I don't want that in there. So let's go ahead, have the finished side up just like on the right hand, except I flipped the pattern over to the left hand side. And we'll follow that pattern around. Let's get it down here off of this stuff so we get it nice and flat. It's another thing, if it slips, if it moves, it makes it really easy to put it right back and follow that pattern. Alright, so there's my left, and that's the same. If we fold that over on that side, that makes a left hand draw. So we've got the skirt when you fold that over, and instead of that skirt tucking back in that Buscadero slit, it's just the belt will actually go through there. So it'll still look like a Lone Ranger rig. It just will be more period correct. And of course, that's just a personal preference also, because a lot of people like the Buscadero rigs. So let's go ahead and start cutting that leather out. I'm just going to follow that line. Looks like it's cutting through pretty good. Now stay right on that pattern line. Take my time, especially in these tight or tighter curves. And the key to this, I found, what works for me best is if I keep this leather in front of me and I keep it very comfortable as far as position is concerned. Alright, so let's take this and let's flip it around and let's continue down here. And also, if you're cutting this direction, if you slip, your blade slips, you're more than likely going to cut to the outside of your pattern, not ruin your piece of leather. But the blade will slip on the outside of your pattern. So if you're drawing it towards you, like so, again, it's not so much that I have to cut through that the first time as much as making sure I stay right on that pattern line. And you'll see as soon as I get this one cut out, I'll show you what that's basically going to look like. And again, this is the left hand one. And this is a fairly new blade. I normally put a brand new blade when I start cutting new projects, but this one had been in there maybe had cut one or two little lighter weight pieces. So it didn't really need to be changed. You can see it's starting to get a little dull there. And when I say dull, like it doesn't cut like butter, because that's the way I like for them to cut. So I'm just going to flip that around and get a new tip for the next piece. Now, here's the left-handed holster, and there's the skirt. And that skirt for this outside part that fits in the back, that's real important on this rig, because if you look, and I'll put in a picture here what it's going to look like similar to it anyway. It has a lot of spots and decorative silver on it. So that skirt's real important to this project. So there's the left hand one. Pull the right hand one up. I'm going to cut it out, and I'll speed this up so you don't have to sit and watch it in real time. So there's the right hand. With the skirt. So I've got the right and the left cut. I'll take a little bit of Jeweler's Rouge here, put it on my stropping board. And strop my beveler. And I'm just going to bevel this finished side. And again, that small bevel, I'm not using my large one, I'm using a smaller one. So it takes a small bevel. That will also take off any of that inked line that's left from drawing around my pattern. And I do this the same way as when I'm cutting. I just keep turning my piece of leather and moving it so I keep it nice and comfortable. And the key, at least for me, is I want to try to keep that bevel, or that piece that I'm cutting off, I want to try to keep that as continuous as I can, just because to me it makes a smoother, better, cleaner beveled edge. than stopping or cutting it off and restarting. And like any tools, you know, it's very important to keep it nice and sharp and polished up. You can see how polished that tip is. And what that does is that lets that glide right across or along that edge. So there's the left hand one finished and beveled. All right, so we've got the left and the right. So we've got our two holster pieces cut out, ready to move on to the next step. So that is getting that prepped, and then we'll move on to the second step. All right, so there's our right and our left holsters. The leather has been cut out, ready to move on. So again, like I explained in the beginning, this is pretty complex. Plus, I am doing some a little bit of changes here and there, and I'll explain those, just like I said about the Buscadero belt and the cartridge belt at the beginning of this video. So come on back next week. We'll be moving on to the second stage, or step 2 of this series. So I think this is going to turn out great. I'm going to do some other things a little bit differently, and I'll explain that in the next video. So please come back, check it out. I would appreciate it. And as I always say, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Now like old Jack Spade will say, don't forget before you ride away. Like, share, subscribe, keep the trail alive. I'll see you in the next one, parts. Till then, keep riding hard.